Ken Show. John Cobelt and Ken Champeau, KFI AM 640. We've been going through an article by Joel Kotkin. He's a smart guy, a scholar, think tank guy at Chapman University, and we've read his stuff for many years. And the headline in the Daily Beast article is, "The Big Idea, California is so over."
It kind of brings together a number of things surrounding this drought, but that we've talked about before, how California really has no middle class anymore. It's just the rich elites in the coastal communities in Silicon Valley, and then all the poor people in between. He goes through that California is 30% of the nation's welfare cases. He talks about the poverty rates are extreme in California where they're not back in the 70s and 80s. This didn't happen overnight, but it's been a change that is now more evident than ever.
The reason our quality of life is as bad as it is because the political choices made by governors and legislatures have been awful. On purpose. They have their reasons. As we told you, Jerry Brown has a reason for not developing water projects since the 1970s. He doesn't want to have a huge water supply feeding the suburban sprawl. He doesn't like you living in a suburban house with a pool and a lawn. His ideology, his weird monk-like beliefs cause him to be angry with people like that. And, you know, this is no joke. This is not made-up hyperbole. You look at his decisions, you look at his background, you look at what his dad did, and you realize this is why. He thinks it's a bad way to live, to be driving a car and to be coming home to a watered lawn and relaxing in a swimming pool. That's not the way you're supposed to live in his monk-like mind.
I like the way he writes this. What we're witnessing now is the breakdown of a once expansive open society into one dominated by a small group of plutocrats, largely in Silicon Valley, with an amen crew among the low-information donors of Hollywood, the public unions, the green lobby, and wealthy real estate developers favored by Brown's pro-density policies. As John said, no suburban sprawl. We want people to live in high-rises, packed into cities next to mass transit. This coalition backs Brown and helps maintain the state's essential one-party system. No one is more adamant about reducing people's carbon footprint than the jet set of Silicon Valley or the state's planning elite, even if they choose not to live in a manner that they instruct all others.
Did you see Leonardo DiCaprio? Took 6 round-trip cross-country private jet flights in a week.
No, I did not.
Yes, that was one of the things they found out from that Sony hack into the Sony computer system.
Oh,
a lot of those documents were dumped, and WikiLeaks has published them. And one of the things they found is he runs around. In fact, the same day that we discovered of all these private plane trips that DiCaprio takes was the same day he was twittering out about a new global warming movie that he narrated.
Yes, he did narrate one.
And that's exactly what Joel Kotkin is talking about. The frauds and fakes of Hollywood and Silicon Valley who carry on about their green ideology while at the same time spending mass fortunes flying themselves privately and blowing enormous amounts of alleged greenhouse gases into the air.
He talks about how Jerry Brown may finally realize we need new water storage capacity after opposing it for years. Then he talks about the need to study desalination facilities. And I love this little paragraph in here. It says that we could use those things for less money than Brown wants to spend on his high-speed choo-choo to nowhere. This piece of infrastructure is so irrelevant to the state's needs that even many of the progressives, such as a guy at Mother Jones, Kevin Drum, says it's a ridiculous waste of money. And then he attacks the environmentalists for dumping water into the San Francisco Bay for the purpose of restoring a long-gone salmon run, or in the Delta in order to save a bait fish, the Delta smelt, which may already be close to extinction.
Here's one more paragraph for now. It says here, not building, because he talks about the Brown's era of Lemit's psychology. And he says, not building roads, arguably to be replaced by trains, has not exactly reduced traffic. But given California the honor of having 8 of the top 20 cities nationally with poor roads, the percentage of Los Angeles area residents who take transit has declined slightly since train building began. All we're left with are impossible freeways, crumbling streets, and ever more difficulty doing anything that requires traveling. That has been the choice of Jerry Brown now in his 4th term, all the Democratic legislatures, and all the Republican governors who went along with all this.
Well,
50 years of neglect, 50 years of choices to try to get people away from a suburban lifestyle.
If you haven't seen it, we'll put a link up on the website to this article in the Daily Beast, The Big Idea, California is So Over by Joel Kotkin.
John and Ken Show, KFI. Shannon has news.